It was what the US called a righteous strike, a necessary act to protect their own troops. Now they accept the only people killed by this drone attack were a family desperate to escape. The explosives they thought were in this car are likely to have been water bottles. The target, identified by intelligence as an ISIS facilitator, actually a long-time aid worker waiting for a visa.
I am now convinced that as many as 10 civilians, including up to 7 children, were tragically killed in that strike. Moreover, we now assess that it is unlikely that the vehicle and those who died were associated with ISIS-K or were a direct threat to U.S. forces. I offer my profound condolences to the family and friends of those who were killed.
These are the victims, an extended family of 3 men and 7 children, one of them just a toddler. The US will now work on facilitating compensation for their surviving relatives. The strike was initiated at a time of incredibly high tension in Kabul after a suicide bombing at the airport killed 13 US military members and scores of Afghan civilians. But this tragedy is likely to provoke further anger in a city already reeling with feelings of betrayal by the US and allied forces. They knew immediately that the drone strike had been an awful mistake.
This is the Koja Bogra neighbourhood, and we live here. A rocket came and hit a house, and 6 or 5 people died. I have nothing else to say. We are distraught.
President Biden had initially hailed this as a success, evidence that the US could carry out over-the-horizon strikes from outside Afghanistan. After the latest in a long history of US drone strikes hitting the wrong target, he will have to consider what next for this part of the country's defence strategy. Martha Kellner, Sky News, Washington, DC.